Yo, yo, damn it. Yo, damn it. Y'all here? What's good? How my freedom marchers doing? Oh boy, there's so much to talk about, so little time. I can't be on here long. I just want to go over this real quick. Now, I haven't watched this video yet, but I watched another video where they were talking about this very thing. Now, YouTube, this is not me saying all this. This is this guy's channel. Let's see. Health by James. There was a peer-reviewed study released on MDPT showing that this components integrate into DNA of human liver cells. Essentially, the study was conducted after increased curiosity in previous studies that showed similar findings, specifically animal research. So this is what he's saying. And these are all his references, right? These are all his references. And there's a lot. Or well, these are let's connect. These are his socials. But this right here, all his references. And I'm gonna use fair use to basically go through this video and just react to what he's saying. You know what I mean? And hey, YouTube, this is not me saying this stuff. This is gonna be me responding. How's my freedom marchers doing out there? 22 Ronin, what it do? Pretty sure there's a way to. I'm still getting the hang of this stuff, y'all. But we're gonna listen to what this guy's saying. This is him, not me, YouTube. So don't hit me with no strike. I'm showing y'all, look, all these references in the Substack. Look, all this shit right here. It's for y'all to go through. Go to his channel, Health by James, if you guys want to check out all these references. All right. Yeah. So we're gonna get into it.
Study out. It was released the other day on February 25th. It showed that the Pfizer vaccine integrated into the DNA of human liver cells in vitro. So in this video, I'll explain everything you need to know about this new data. We'll go over graphs and charts and also some slides I created to simplify this for you.
You hear what he said?
Study out. It was released the other day on February 25th. It showed that the Pfizer vaccine integrated into the DNA of human liver cells in vitro. So in this video, I'll explain everything you need to know about this new data. We'll go over graphs and charts and all.
Y'all remember what I said about the GMO? Y'all remember that? Y'all remember what I said? Now it's integrating into the DNA of your liver. That's what the study finds. This is not me, YouTube. This is what he's saying. All right, I'm just showcasing his work. That's all I'm doing. I'm not saying he's right or wrong. I'm saying that he has references, and this is a study. And I'm not even going to get into the over 1,200 side effects that came out through the FOIA request. I'm not even going to talk about that. I still got to get that shit together. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to go through it. Hold on. Go, motherfucker. Oh.
And also some slides I created to simplify
this. What's up, Orange Reno?
Before we begin, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell in the bottom right hand corner so you can be notified when my new videos come out. Also, click my social links in the description if you want more content like this. I post extra exclusive content on Substack and Patreon if you're interested. Anyways, let's get into this. Now, I broke down this study in my new Substack post, so be sure to check it out. I'll post a link in the description below. It's really nuanced and simplified at the same time with a lot less medical jargon than this study itself. Now first, I'm going to give you a quick 2-minute overview of the study using my Substack post. Then, I'm going to open the slides that I created to explain things, and that way you'll have additional visual material. It should make things at least a little bit easier. Okay, first, let me pull up my Substack post on this. Hold on one second. Now let me scroll down to where it says the study numbers 1 and 2. Let me highlight this. Now to begin, some housekeeping. Just so it's clear, the study we're talking about today was conducted because of curiosity over previous preclinical data from Pfizer and data from other studies showing transient damage from Pfizer's BNT162b.
Transient what? Transient damage? Really? So transient damage from this thing right here. This thing. Transient damage from this thing right here brought about curiosity. So they wanted to do this here study. Interesting.
COVID vaccine in animals and in vitro. So with that out of the way, let's dig into the data. I'm going to scroll down a little bit more because I want you to look here. So in this study, human hepatoma liver cells, also known as HUH7 cells, were exposed to the BNT162b2 vaccine, or the Pfizer vaccine, and monitored for changes at 6, 24, and 48 hours. For your information, HUH7 cells, they're human liver cells that were surgically removed from a 57-year-old Japanese man in 1982. Interestingly, these cells are considered immortal because they continue to replicate. They've been used in so many experiments since the 1980s that they're now considered a gold standard when doing this kind of research. Anyways, I digress. Let's quickly look at the next bullet point about PCR testing. So, after cells were...
What he was just talking about with the immortal cells, that reminds me of Henrietta Lacks. She had the same type of thing going on. And they still use her DNA to this day to perform scientific experiments.
Exposed to the vaccine, as I explained previously, their cell contents were broken apart and investigated for changes using quantitative PCR testing. So you guys already know what PCR testing is. Basically, RNA is changed or reverse transcribed into DNA, then amplified so a particular RNA-DNA sequence can be identified. Well, what they found in this study after PCR examination, and let me scroll down to this stained image so you can actually get a visual, what they found is that the vaccine increased line 1 ORF1 proteins in the nucleus of human liver cells. Those kind
in the what is? In the nucleus of the human liver cells. Inside. But weren't we told that these RNA strands were supposed to stay outside of the nucleus? Now we're finding out that they go inside the nucleus of the liver cells. Why the liver cells? Interesting. GMO. I've been telling y'all about the GMO shit.
kinds of proteins are associated with malignancy, especially increased levels of them. Also, researchers found that the ORF1 portion of the line 1 protein went back into the nucleus of the liver cells from the cytoplasm and other areas, and then chaperoned the attachment of vaccine RNA into human liver cell DNA. Okay, now look here at where it says letter A, the row that says line 1. The box says CTRL, or control. Now that signifies a control cell that wasn't exposed to the vaccine. The rest of the images in that row were exposed. As you can see, there's more red in the other boxes compared to the control, and more red means more line 1 ORF inside of liver cells. If you look below, the blue stain, also known as Hook stain, identifies the nucleus or nuclear parts of those liver cells. Essentially, this is evidence that the red, which is line 1 protein, is within blue, which is the nucleus. Now, let me pull up these slides so you can get a better visual of all of this. Okay, one second. Okay, slide 1. So this shows what we already talked about. The vaccine was introduced into those HUH human liver cells, and then the vaccine mRNA used ribosomes in the cell to produce viral proteins. Now, let me pull up the next slide. Hold on one second. Now, as you can see, after 6, 24, and 48 hours, the cells were broken apart and PCR testing was used to identify possible changes caused by the vaccine. Okay, now let's move on to the next slide, and that's slide 3. This shows the results of the PCR testing. Essentially, it shows elevated levels of line 1 ORF1 proteins in the cell plus the nucleus. We already talked about that, and obviously that's not good. On the other hand, this image also shows elevated levels of vaccine mRNA proteins in the cell plus the nucleus. In 48 hours, the cells were broken apart and PCR testing was used to identify possible changes caused by the vaccine. Okay, now let's move on to the next slide, and that's slide 3. This shows the results of the PCR testing. Essentially, it shows elevated levels of line 1 ORF1 proteins in the cell plus the nucleus. We already talked about that, and obviously that's not good.
Plus the nucleus? But they don't go into the nucleus. That's what we were told, right? That's what we were told. It don't go into the nucleus. And what did he say? That's not good. I mean, come on, man. Like, what I've been telling y'all? What I've been telling y'all? GMO. That's what I've been telling y'all.
On the other hand, this image also shows elevated levels of vaccine mRNA and spike protein code. Now, that's normal. After all, that's what the vaccine does. Now, finally, slide 4, and probably the most important one. Hold on one second. Let me pull this up. So let me back up a little bit to explain this properly. The vaccine was introduced to those HUH7 liver cells. That was the first step, right? Then the mRNA from that vaccine entered those cells. After that, mRNA from the vaccine made its way to cell ribosomes that then took the vaccine mRNA code and turned it into protein. Specifically and incidentally, this line 1 ORF1 protein I keep talking about here. And if you look to the far right, you see the most insidious part about this, that being line 1 ORF1 protein, after being produced in the cell, ended up going back into the nucleus to chaperone the attachment of the vaccine code to the human DNA code in those liver cells.
What did I say?
Some final words on this.
What did I say months ago? What did I say months ago? I said, yeah, they're telling us. I said this during a live stream while I was rucking. I said, yeah, they're telling us that the shit don't go into the actual nucleus. You need help doing what? South. Okay, hold on. I'll be in a minute. Hold on, y'all. Okay. Yes. So, close that door. So, what did I tell you? I said they telling us that it's not going into the nucleus. But how do we know that? How do we know that it's not actually going into the nucleus? Well, we didn't know. But now we finding out. This shit is crazy.
You really need more data on this to draw any conclusions. This was an in vitro study. This was not done in a fully functional organism. At best, it's interesting and educational. However, this is to chaperone the attachment of the vaccine code to the human DNA code in those liver cells.
Human DNA
now, some
code.
Final words on this. We really need more data on this to draw any conclusions. This was an in vitro study. This was not done in a fully functional organism. At best, it's interesting and educational. However, this does warrant follow-up and even in vivo studies for sure. Also, these cellular changes were seen after only 6 hours of those cells being exposed to the vaccine. But as far as 48 hours into the study, we only know 48 hours because that's when the study ended. The effects could have lasted for much longer. But anyways, those are the facts. We still need more data on this, and if there's anything you'd like to learn about, please leave it in the comments section below, and I'll see you on the next one.
What you doing? So, I mean, look, YouTube, I'm not saying this shit. This is what he's saying. This is what this guy, what's his name? Health by Kalasia. Go in the house. Health. You don't ever want to come out here. Now you want to come out. Health by James. That's what he's saying. Hey, based on all this Based on this study, based on all this research. Matter of fact, let's take a look. All right. Abstract. So this is one. This is the. I believe this is the actual intercellular reverse transcription of Pfizer BioNTech. This in vitro and human liver cell line. Okay, now he said you can't draw any solid conclusions on this, but I mean, if come on, man, if it's doing it in vitro, what's to stop it from doing it in your body? Especially if they're not aspirating the pointy thing when they do the sticky stick. You understand what I'm saying? If they're not aspirating the thingy thing when they sticky with the sticky stick, we don't know if it's getting in the bloodstream or not. And it's not supposed to go in your bloodstream. It's supposed to go into your muscles. All right, hold on. All right, hold on, guys. Hold on, guys. Ugh. Hare Krishna. Hold on. I'll be right back. All right. Sorry about that. Sorry about that, y'all. Just completely unprofessional. Let me see what y'all talking about up in here. Lawrence Renault was good. The Mooch Man 25. Your boy High Impact still hasn't made a video about the blacks getting mistreated in Ukraine, and he probably never will. He probably won't. Like that. Hey, that's his prerogative. That's on him. You know what I'm saying? He don't want to cover it. You don't want to cover it. Let's see. The black conservative Christian rebel. You just don't quit, do you? You just don't quit. It's all good. You stupid fool was good. Yep, the clowns created these boxing gloves are the servants of Satan. I hear you, man. But here's a study here. You know what I'm saying? Hold on, I gotta shift some things around a little bit. Let me see. All right, let me see here. No, I've got to shift some things around. Gotta get this thing cracking. My channel. easier. And cracking. All right. Where's the chat? Man. All right, there we go. All right, let me see. I got 3 screens over here, so just trying to. I'll read y'all comments in a minute. All right. All right, I really want to read and watch this.
We have all kinds of.
All right, let me see. This fool right here, man. This is a 12-minute video. I'm gonna cover this video, and then I'm gonna have to be done for today. I plan on doing some more tomorrow. Let me see. But my kids want to play some games. They want to play Pictionary and all that. So I got about 20 more minutes before they come for your boy. All right, let's see. You Stupid Fool says, I know about the African brothers and sisters in Ukraine, but you do know with these boxing gloves, you're owned by Bob Arum. I'm speaking cold, y'all. Yeah, I gathered that. White Boy Lockdown Radio says, Mighty Mouse won't accept my challenge, and he's going to be on MTV. Well, hopefully we can get some information in MTV about Mighty Mouse, huh? And, yeah. Ukraine is doing a terrible job of selling the war. Yeah, you're right about that, man. Zelensky is not looking good. It's all of his propaganda, man. We have to understand if it's coming from any government, it's just plain old propaganda. That's just what it is. You know, they're not going to give us a straight skinny, and we're going to be manipulated and all that good shit. White Boy Lockdown Radio says, I told Mighty Mouse I would go out and meet him at his events. He keeps ducking me. That's sad, man. You know, he don't want to. He gonna get his. J.J. Miller says 22 wrong. What about the ghost of Kiev? I thought he would give Ukrainians advantage in the war. Man, it's all fake. It's all BS, man. It's all a reason to suck the wealth from us, right? But I'm getting this fool, man. This is my first time ever watching his content. I watched maybe half of this video, and he's just an idiot. I was actually surprised by ABL's take on this thing right here. The same topic, you know, ABL had a little bit more sense. This dude right here is just pandering. I could tell he's worse than Brandon Tatum. I can already tell that. But let's see what this fool was saying.
The stories coming out of Ukraine. I'm trying my best not to talk about it because I'm actually tired of talking about it. But hey, I gotta find stuff to talk about, right? I gotta talk about the news. Okay. There's been some fake news, a whole lot of fake news coming out of Ukraine. Obviously, we've talked about that. And there's been a whole lot of woke news coming out of Ukraine. Discrimination, right? I talked about how allegedly they were discriminating against Africans and Indians and people of other ethnicities and races outside of Ukrainians in regards to getting people out of the country. Okay, they weren't letting people who are not Ukrainian citizens board the train and actually leave the country. They were making them stay. There's videos that are online that generate a whole bunch of controversy. There's also news about LGBTQ refugees fleeing Ukraine that, you know, when they actually leave, they're facing discrimination in countries with anti-gay laws. There's stories about how transgender people in Ukraine, right, are facing some issues because they're transgender. Again, there's all kinds of stories out there, right? It's honestly fascinating stuff. But with that being said, I stumbled across a story that I found to be very interesting that I want to give my take on, okay? That involves a refugee from Congo who basically was asked to stay and fight for Ukraine, and he won't really feeling it all that much, okay? And I want to talk about that. But before I get in that, I just want to let you guys know, if you like my channel.
Shut up.
below. You support the Patreon, you support the PayPal, you support the merch. There are multiple ways to support the channel if you would like to do.
The violence in Ukraine. Worrying accounts now of racial discrimination are being reported throughout the evacuation efforts. The United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees is now confirming to us that there are cases of discrimination in admitting refugees. One Congo native saying he was discriminated against while trying to board a train out of Ukraine. Take a listen.
They even told us, like, we are going to give you guns and you're gonna fight for Ukraine. So, like, we're gonna fight for Ukraine? We are not Ukrainian. We are black. So how can we fight? How can we fight for Ukraine?
Great question.
If we fight for Ukraine, we are going to die first because we are black. When they will see, oh, look at those black people. I think they are from they are from NATO. So we have to kill them first. So how could they think that way? Come on. Ukraine.
You heard from that gentleman there. He's 34 years old. He's lived in Ukraine for the past 9.
Hey. Yeah. But you can sit here. Yeah. No, because I have these things on. They shouldn't hear you. Yeah, me. We're talking about the Ukrainian shit. Talking about the black folks not being able to leave Ukraine, and this fool named the Black Conservative Perspective. His little take on it. It's retarded. No, I'm doing a live stream. Well, go ahead, have a seat. My wife is shy, y'all. Me wife is shy. And you know, I think ABL is seeing through the smoke screen, y'all. Real shit. Good point, Black 22 Ronin. Jaden Miller says 22 Ronin, you right. Oh, yeah, they was a bunch of white supremacists as well. Hell, the Ukrainian government has a reason not to let refugees out of their land and more protective of their own. Exactly. Y'all stay here. Y'all Negroes and Indians and non-white Ukrainians, y'all stay here and be the cannon fodder, and we'll let our people out. Man, we ain't stupid. And I don't trust the Ukrainian government either. You stupid fool. I don't trust any government. Real shit. You know what? No, you're not in it. My wife is crazy. You're not in it. You're not. So, but you know, y'all basically get it, right? This guy said, "Why would I fight for Ukraine? I'm black. I'm not Ukrainian." You know what I'm saying? He's been there 9 years or whatever the case may be, as you will find out. But that doesn't mean. What does that mean? That mean I'm supposed to just go to war for y'all? Hell no. You know what I'm saying? Look, y'all deal with that. Y'all deal with them Russians. I feel them.
Originally from Congo, and he said he left the Republic of Congo for a better life, to escape the political situation, the strife there. And here he is once again now having to leave another country and is facing discrimination. Just a little bit more about what he said, Kira, that he and others endured as they tried to leave Ukraine. He is in Dnipro, or lived in Dnipro, which is just south of Kiev. And at one point on the train that he was trying to get on with so many other refugees, he said that the guards there said that only women and children would be allowed to board the trains that were headed west. And that then they saw that there were white men who were allowed to get on.
Now, this is an important point. They said at first that only women and children can get on. But then he saw them letting white men get on the train. This is an important point for this idiot's video.
But that the people of color were barred from getting onto that.
Let me not call him an idiot. This panderer's video, all right?
Train. And it was a moment of disbelief for him, and certainly one of frustration.
It was clear. It was clear. Because we are black. That's why they were acting that way. Come on. We are black people in a white country. We already know the way that we're gonna act with us. So for me, it's nothing.
Guys, this strongly reminds me of the woke revolutionaries here in the United States. When they talk about how terrible it is to be not white in America, but yet
Who? Did you hear what this fool said? Wait, I gotta rewind a little bit. His speech is a little off. I gotta hear what he's saying.
revolutionaries here in the United States.
Revolutionaries, okay.
It's not
Revolutionaries here in the United States.
Guys, this strongly reminds me of the woke revolutionaries here in the United
The woke revolutionaries, okay.
States. When they talk about how terrible it is to be not white.
Okay. I don't know what a woke revolutionary is, but this guy said it reminds him of the woke revolutionaries here in the United States, whining about how terrible it is to be not white. When have you ever heard a black person say, "Oh, it's terrible not being white. Oh my God." When have they ever said that? Is that a narrative that has been pushed by anybody? Did Martin Luther King say, "Man, it's so terrible not to be black, not to be white. Not being white is terrible"? No one's ever said that. What? What is? Oh my God. But this is not for us. This is for his white conservative base. Okay? This is for his white conservative base to make them feel good, to counter the CRT, which is supposed to make him feel bad. And he wants to come in and be the hero, so he can get his money. I ain't mad at it, but I'm gonna let motherfuckers know what the real is. James Miller says, "Bro, Snap, this is what I'm talking about, man. The Ukrainian government is forcing civilians and foreigners that don't want to fight this war. This mofo should have the right not to be conscripted." Exactly. I'm gonna get into that.
In America, but yet they won't leave America, right? They won't move to another country.
I'm so tired of this tired ass narrative. Oh, if it's so bad in America, move to another country. That's not how it's supposed to work. Number one, we have every right to be here on this land that they call the United States of America. We was here, black folks I'm talking about. My ancestors were here before the Europeans showed up. But we won't get into all that. That's not how it works. If there's corruption and oppression given forth by a government, you don't say, "Oh, you know what, I'm gonna leave." No, this is your land. You own this. This is your land. You have every right to it. You have more right to it than the government does. But what does the government have? They have millions of acres of federal land that they control, right? That does not belong to them. No, that's not how it works. If you have a problem with something, you just leave. You know what I'm saying? That's not how it works. That's not a solution. The solution is, okay, let's get rid of the corruption. Let's get rid of the tyranny. You know what I'm saying? Because guess what? Wherever you go, there you are. Wherever you go, there you are. You can't run from that type of shit. Leave the country. That's the most tired ass narrative in the world.
Right? Apparently being in the white country of America is so bad, but you won't go to Africa, I don't know, South America, Asia. You won't go to any other part of the world that's not mostly white. You love living in the white parts of the world, even though white people are supposed to be so evil. Okay? And I kind of got reminded of that when this guy was talking about how, I come over here to Ukraine and as a black person, I'm expected to be treated a certain way and blah, 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 and it's so bad. And listen, I'm not saying it's not.
When did he say it was so bad?
But why didn't you not stay in your own country of Congo and fight for your country?
Because he didn't want to. He didn't want to stay in Congo. Right? He didn't say he left because of conflict. He said he left because of the government, corruption, or whatever the case may be. Right? If your government is treating you bad, why would you want to stay if it's so bad that there's nothing you can do if you stick around, right? You can stay or you can go. If a motherfucker want to leave because it's bad, then they should leave. if they want to leave. But if they want to stay and try to make change where they are, they have that right too. It's up to them. But it's not. And he just got through saying, if it's so bad, then leave. Well, guess what? It's bad in Ukraine. So that's why he's leaving. It's bad in the country of Ukraine right now because the Russians coming over there, shelling buildings and attacking civilians. So they're saying. So this is what the narrative is from the media. But that's what's going on there. So he wants to leave, just like you said. So now you want him to stay? Oh, but he was supposed to stay in Congo. Which one is it? Do you want him to stay or do you want him to leave? Oh, he's only supposed to stay in the white countries and fight for the white countrymen. But when it comes to his own, you know what I'm saying? I'm confused. He's confusing me. You know what I'm saying? So do you want us to stay or do you want us to leave? Black conservative. Do you want him to stay or do you want him to leave? Which one is it?
The black folks, right? Why don't you stay in your own country? Okay? Because again, if it's so bad in Europe, if the Ukrainians are treating you so bad, then you should have just stayed in Congo and fought for your country, right? And to make your country and your land better so that people that look like you aren't going to be racially discriminated against.
Hello. Why not use that narrative for the United States? Why not say the same thing about the United States? No, you want us to leave. If we have a problem here, I was born here, right? Just like many black people. Most black people live, we were born here. So maybe that's what we want to do. We want to stay and make it better, right? We don't want to leave. But you want him in America, if we have a problem with the United States, if we have a problem with oppression and tyranny towards black people in the United States, we just got to leave. But if we was in the Congo, we had to stay? Which one is it? I hate these cats, man. Listen. If he didn't want to stay in the Congo, that's up to him. If he don't want to stay in Ukraine, he should be able to leave. If there's conflict, if he's a refugee. The fact of the matter is, if you're going to say only women and children can get on the train, then it better just be women and children going on that train, not white men. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay? Even though they do face ethnic and tribal discrimination, and I think people kind of overlook that.
No, we don't overlook it. It's not overlooked. It's not overlooked. It's not overlooked.
You know, that people that look the same, right? They got the same skin tone. They still discriminate against each other based off tribe and stuff like that, right? People forget that. But anyways, that's beside the point. What I'm saying is, at the very least, it's not somebody's white that you're alleging that is discriminating against you if you just would have stayed and fought for your own country, because that to me sounds like that's what you should have did. But instead, he decided that, hey, you know what? I don't want to stay and fight for my own country. I'm going to go live in somebody else's country. I'm going to use all their resources, right? I'm going to leech off of them. And then when push come to shove, I'm going to try to dip, right? When somebody tries to invade the country, I'm not going to fight for the country that I'm trying to stay in, the country that I want to treat me fairly. Right? I'm going to leech off of them. And then when...
Leech. How do you know that... So he's just automatically, that this dude is leeching off the Ukrainian government? What do you know about this black man's contribution to Ukraine? And guess what? There were students. It wasn't just this black man. There were students and all kind of black folks that were not allowed to leave Ukraine that contributed in some form to the society. How do you know that they did not contribute? Did they get there legally? Or is he there legally on a visa where you have to contribute? If you're going to stay, you got to do some type of contribution. You got to work. You got to pay taxes, all that other shit. But there's nothing that says that you have to fight in my war if we get invaded. There's nothing that says that. If you're allowing natural Ukrainian citizens to leave, then you damn sure should let the aliens, or whatever you want to call them, leave. They should get priority. You understand what I'm saying? Miss me with that. This dude is retarded. He's not retarded. Okay? That's just, a joke.
push come to shove, I'm gonna try to dip, right? When somebody tries to invade the country, I'm not gonna fight for the country that I'm trying to stay in, the country that I want to treat me fairly. You see how this works?
No.
Again, you're blaming Ukrainian soldiers for letting Ukrainian citizens on those trains first, right? Saying, listen, we're gonna get our people out of here first, but you don't want to necessarily stay and fight for this country like the Ukrainian men, the Ukrainian citizens that are men, are being forced to do, right? Because allegedly, 18 to 16-year-old men aren't necessarily being allowed to leave the country. Now, I don't necessarily know if that's 100% true, right? Because, again, there's been all...
No. He just told you that they were letting men, Ukrainian men, onto the train. Why would... What? If they're Ukrainian and it's their homeland, why would they be given the right to leave before someone who's living there, but that's not their homeland, and that doesn't want to fight there? If you are in the United States and you want to join the military, you have to be a U.S. citizen or a permanent resident. You can't be someone on a visa. You can't be like, oh, I'm here on a visa, let me join the military. No, it don't work like that. And you're not conscripted. You don't have to sign up for selective service if you're not a citizen, a so-called citizen of the United States. It doesn't work like that. We're not going to send legal or illegal immigrants to fight in a war overseas if they don't have full citizenship. That's not how it works. Does this guy have full citizenship? I have no idea. But you don't conscript foreigners to go fight a war for you. You understand what I'm saying? That's not how it works. Now, if they want to volunteer, if it's desperate, you know what I'm saying? You guys need people. And if they want to do it, that's up to them. What are you talking about, dude?
All types of fake news when it comes to this Ukraine thing. But I'm just saying,
That's
in
true.
general, men are required to stay behind and fight for the country, right? The country that they want to protect and defend. So this guy, it seems like to me, is one of these refugees. Is like, I don't want to fight for my own country, and I damn sure don't want to fight for this country.
Okay, so let's say he didn't come from Congo. Let's say he's a black man from America, and he didn't go to Ukraine to escape anything. He just went there maybe let me check Ukraine out. Let me go to school here. You know what I'm saying? I heard some stuff about Ukraine. Let me go see see what's cracking. So you want to hang on to this Congo thing. You want to say, oh, he's from Congo. There's conflict in Congo, so he should have stayed in Congo. No, it doesn't work like that. What if he was from Jamaica? Or what if he was from England? A black man from England went to Ukraine. And he's not escaping conflict in England. He's not escaping conflict in the United States. He's not escaping conflict in Jamaica. What do you do then with that narrative? It won't work for you because you don't have that whole, oh, he left his country in conflict. Yeah. If he's not going to fight during the conflict in his own country, why would he do it in another motherfucking country that he's not a citizen or a native to? And why would he fight for a corrupt government in his own country if he knows that the reason for the warring and the reason for the conflict is based on corruption and the government is doing whacked out shit? Why would he want to stay and fight for that? You know what I'm saying? The dude's not making any sense.
So who you want to fight for then, bro? Who do you
Himself.
have allegiance to? Do you have allegiance to anybody except yourself? Right? Who do you actually have allegiance to? You have allegiance to nobody, but you want these people that you don't have allegiance to treat you the same as they treat people that actually have allegiance to the country. I don't understand. I don't understand how that works.
Because you listen, man. If you're a civilian, number one, if you're a civilian and there's conflict in your country and you want to escape your country because you're not fighting the conflict because you are a civilian, then That doesn't mean that if you're leaving the country, that doesn't mean you don't have allegiance to it. It just means that you don't have the training, you don't have the wherewithal, you don't have the knowledge, you don't have maybe the physical capability. It does. You don't know what the reason could be, right? He doesn't have to stay in Ukraine, and you're saying that they should give priority to the loyal patriots of the country to leave the country, but they're not disloyal if they leave Ukraine if they're from Ukraine. But if you're not from Ukraine, you're a piece of shit if you leave Ukraine, right? Is that what I'm supposed to be gathering from this? So if okay, I am a citizen of Ukraine. I'm loyal and I pledge allegiance. I have allegiance to Ukraine. It's okay for me to leave Ukraine during a conflict, and I'm still a loyal, allegiant individual. But that motherfucker from Congo, who is here for whatever reason he's here, he wants to leave. Nah, you don't get to leave because you're not loyal to my country. Only I get to leave because I'm loyal to my country during a conflict. Are you hearing what I'm saying?
Right? I don't understand how it works. From a certain perspective, I kind of get where he's coming from. Okay, in the sense that it's like, well, damn, I just basically skipped out of my own country to go to a country where, hey, at the very
He is stuck on this skipped out on your own country shit. See, if he didn't have the Congo angle, he wouldn't have shit to say. He wouldn't have shit to say if it wasn't for the Congo shit.
very least, it wasn't as likely that I was going to die from a war. And lo and behold, this country's at war. So I kind of get where he's coming from. Dude just don't want to fight, period. Okay?
So what? Dude don't want to fight? So what? It's not his country. He don't want to fight. You don't know why he left Congo. He gave you a little bit of information. Now you want to take it and run with it. Oh, he didn't want to fight in the war in Congo. Come on, man.
But at the same time, it's like, I don't know, maybe, you don't necessarily have to fight per se, but maybe you don't take away a spot or a seat on a train for somebody who actually does need to leave. Women and children that.
What if he actually does need to leave? What if he actually does need to leave? It is not just men that have been denied access to Poland or getting out of the country. There are also black women. Come on, man. Miss me with this bullshit.
That need to leave, right? Maybe you shouldn't do that. Maybe you can do something that, I don't know, conscientious objectors do, right? Maybe you can do medical supplies or, do something, right? Communications, you can do something to help out rather than just be like, oh, no, I want to leech off this country and then I'm going to leave, okay?
Leech off the country. What do you know about what this dude's doing in the country? Huh? This is what I'm talking about, these... I don't want to use the word house Negro, but Jesus Christ, man, this dude is out of his mind. Woo!
Okay? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Now, if this guy was a student, I think my opinion would be a little bit different. Okay? Because when it comes to students...
They were denying students... Okay.
For the most part, you're not there permanently. You're paying to be there. You're paying to go to the school to study, medicine, whatever you're studying, right? You don't necessarily have an allegiance to that country. You're not necessarily there to be there long term, right? So I wouldn't expect somebody that's a student to stand there and fight for a country that they're not trying to stay in permanently. This guy's actually trying to stay in there permanently, right? But again,
did anybody hear the guy say that he was trying to stay in Ukraine permanently? He said he was there for 9 years. We don't know why he's there. If he's working, he's probably paying taxes. He's paying taxes. And if he's working, he's contributing to the GDP of the country. If he's working. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't mean that I have to fight in your war. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they needed workers. I know certain countries, they'll offer visas to individuals who might want to come into the country to work because they don't have enough workers in that country. You know what I'm saying? You don't know the circumstances under which the dude is here. I wouldn't even make no judgment like that. The fact of the matter is he's not Ukrainian. And they're letting white men on that train, but not letting his black ass on the train. That's a problem.
When it comes to students trying to leave the country, though, right, trying to get out, first and foremost, that is the responsibility of the embassies that belong to the countries that they're from. That is who is responsible for getting those people out of that country, right? And I've already done a video on this in which I basically said that, you know, all these people that's stuck there, that's not Ukrainians, that can't get out because they're not Ukrainian, they got to look at their own home country and say, look, they're the problem, right?
What the hell are you talking about? So it's the embassy's responsibility to get, the embassy will tell their people, you need to leave the country ASAP. I advise that you leave the country. And so when you get your papers and you get your refugee paperwork to leave the country and go into another country with refugee status, then you should be allowed to leave. It's the responsibility of the Ukrainian government to allow these people to leave when they have the proper paperwork. In the Polish, if they want to let them in. But the Ukrainians aren't even letting them get to the Poland border to leave. These people are there on temporary visas and whatever the case may be. They don't have to be forced to stay in Ukraine. Where's this dude coming from? For the most part, your embassy, they're not going to fly in choppers into Ukraine and pick people up. No, you're in fucking conflict. You understand what I'm saying? And because if you send a air rescue to your people in Ukraine and your people aren't Ukrainian and you're part of NATO or something like that and you're trying to get your people out and your shit gets shot down, now you're getting pulled in. It's not smart to just go in and do it like that. What you do is you tell them to go to the nearest border and y'all get coordinates cracking and you go there and you rally up. But the foreign government is not going to send troops in or send in rescue teams into the country to get students and workers out. That's not how it works. Because they want to minimize the level of involvement in this shit between Ukraine and Russia. What is he talking about? No, the embassy will help you get papers to leave. All right, let's get you this refugee status. Get your ass out of here. But they're not even allowed to. This dude?
They're the issue for why they can't get out because their countries are responsible for them abroad, right? So that being said, again, if this guy was a student, I would say, listen, yeah, I would.
They're responsible insofar as they get them the paperwork or they get them whatever they need, the passports, they get the stamp and all that other shit, and they get their refugee status and they get it crack and they get the fuck out. But you don't know if these people are actually going through this process or not. You're thinking this guy's something else, man.
I wouldn't expect you to fight for a country that's not your country, okay? But you're a refugee. You're there permanently. That country took you in from another wartime country. They said,
who did he say that he was a refugee? This dude is just drawing his own conclusions based on his assumptions. I don't know if the dude was a refugee. He never said he was a refugee. He said he left his country. He didn't say he was a refugee who left his country. This dude's just making assumptions. And so what? Even if he was a refugee and went to Ukraine, now Ukraine is under attack. And so now, to escape the conflict, he has to be a refugee again. So what? Is there a limit to the amount of times you can be a refugee? What is this dude talking about, man?
Hey, we'll take you in. We will have you, okay? For a country that's supposed to be so racist, they took in black immigrants, right? Black refugees.
Who said that? Who said that? Who said anything about racism in Ukraine? Who said that? In this instance, did the black dude say that he was being racially discriminated against outside of trying to leave the country? Did he say that the country is just inherently racist before the conflict? Where's he getting this information from?
From Africa, who were going through war.
And what if they weren't from Africa going through war? What if they weren't in a war-torn country in Africa? What if they came from Ghana? What if they came from Tanzania? Where there is no conflict. And they just want to go. What are you talking about? This dude is just drawing conclusions based on what?
But you're not gonna turn around and fight
No.
for that country?
No. What? No, I'm not going to turn around and fight for that country. Russia wants Ukraine. You want me to stay and fight for Ukraine, who is going to lose at some point, and then become under the control of Russia? What are you talking about? Or die by the hands of Russians? Why would I do that? Why would I do that? Racist or not, I don't care if the Ukraine is racist or not. Why would I want to stick around and do that?
Actually took you in? Again, I'm not saying there's no racial problems in Ukraine. I'm not saying
Then what?
that this guy's not facing some type of racial discrimination because I look. That's not what I'm saying. But even if you're facing those things, I feel like you're in a better spot, in a better position than you would be in Congo, right? You're in a
How you know that? I feel. Oh, this country is racially discriminating against me. No one said that, right? Outside of not letting them leave. But I'm going to stay and fight for you anyway.
a way better position if you would be in Congo. And if I was you, I would be grateful for that. And, at the very least, if you don't want to fight, don't try to take somebody else's spot on the train to get out. And maybe, I don't know, do some type of support thing.
Why? For what? This is... Oh, man. I'm going to look at this guy's channel more. I'm pretty sure he got some juicy content for me to just destroy him on. This is ridiculous. This dude right here. Come on, man. This. I need him to explain to me why he wants this dude to stay in Ukraine and fight so bad. I'll tell you why. Because his black ass was allowed to come to Ukraine because of the conflict in Congo, and he should be grateful. Oh, these good white people, they took care of you. If it wasn't for these good white people, we wouldn't have nothing. No, there wouldn't be nothing good here. We got cherries and we got ice cream. If it wasn't for white folks, we wouldn't have ice cream and cars and open heart surgery. Oh wait, that was a black man. We wouldn't have street lights. Oh wait, that was a black man. Oh, we wouldn't have this and that. We wouldn't have a catalytic converter. Oh wait, that was a black man. Oh, we wouldn't have. You should be thanking these white folks. That's basically what he's saying. All right. He don't know he got drafted. Being what's up? What was it? He's being a Karen. Jay Slick Twisted, what's up, bro? Hell no, I ain't fighting for no country that don't give about me with all this shit. Hell no. Jay Slick Twisted says, bro, this dude is a clown. He ain't got no sense. He ain't got no sense. Yeah, go fight for those good white people that took you in. This guy is crazy, man. Jay Mill said that's like Tatum saying us black folks should thank white men. If people wonder why they think he's a COO, thank the white man for what? What am I thanking the white man for? Thank him for what? Should we be thanking this guy? Should we be thanking this guy? Speaking of the Congo, this is King Leopold II, the man who murdered 10 million people. Went off into the Congo, destabilized the shit out of it, murdered many people, and you wonder why there's so many problems in the Congo right now. Because of motherfuckers like this entering into indigenous lands. And yes, there might have been warring tribes and shit like that over food and water here and there, you know what I'm saying? Okay. But they didn't do this. You understand? We supposed to thank the white man, but they did this before what? What should we be thanking the white man for? The real life Mad King was responsible for one of the most notorious genocides in human history. It's funny how Hitler, Stalin, and Mussolini are notorious for their brutal acts of human genocide. Yet a tyrant like Leopold II was unnoticed in history pages. Leopold II, the King of Belgium, reduced the population of Congo from 20 million estimated to 10 million and still managed to retain his reputation as a great monarch. But we should be thanking the white man. Oh, let's thank the white man. Oh, thank you, white man. You killed 10 million people in the Congo. And how are we supposed to recover from that? Nobody talks about one of the most notorious mass murderers in history. What was it? What was it? Look at this. Look at these people. Oh, thank you, white man. Thank you, white whatever you are. Thank you, white girl. Thank you, white woman. Thank you, white androgynous motherfucker. Oh, yeah. Thank you, white person. Leopold II was in Brussels on 9 April 1835. He was born in 1835 to King Leopold and his second wife, Louise. He was the second son and sole successor of Leopold I. He had a normal childhood just like any other prince. Most of the time went into learning horse riding and shooting. No one could have thought a childhood so typical could yield a monster like Leopold. Should we be thanking this white man? Look at this. Execution of slaves by the Wakuf near, you know what I'm saying? In 1866, with stern beliefs in Catholic supremacy and European superiority, Leopold started looking to buy weaker territories. It wasn't just in Africa, was it? The Netherlands, Spain, and Portugal were weak and poor, but all these nations had large overseas empires. The situation gave Leopold a ray of hope, and he asked Belgium's ambassador in Madrid to negotiate with the Queen Isabella II of Spain to cede the Philippines to Belgium, however, in vain. All right. The fact of the matter is this: intrusion into Congo through philanthropy. This is how they work. This is how they operate. They don't just go in there guns blazing. They go under the auspices of philanthropy. Oh, we want to make you better. Oh, we want to help you out here. We want to help you. And then they turn around and pull the bullshit. To hide his activities, King Leopold II created a philanthropic society he called the International African Society. The society's official purpose was to help black people of the Congo. This move made Leopold's private invasion of Congo appear benign. Leopold appealed to Belgium's government to provide him with seed funds to carry out humanitarian endeavor. Does that sound familiar? Does that sound like somebody we know today? Last name rhymes with hates. First name starts with ill. Ill hates. Does that sound like somebody you know? The scam succeeded. The king got government funds to finance his private African empire. Leopold used the money to finance a mercenary army known as Force Publique. The king appointed governors whose job was to squeeze as much money out of Congo as possible. Look at this. Look at this. The unsaid horrors of colonization and genocide. Oh, thank you, white man. Thank you for my missing hand and my missing fingers. Thank you for my missing forearm. Thank you for my missing hand. Oh, thank you for my missing head, sir. Oh, sir, thank you for my missing hand. Oh, look at that, my missing hand. Thank you so much. I love it. I ain't got to worry about breaking my hands when I punch people now. Thank you, sir. It's a pity when the population of 10 million goes missing from the face of the earth, but the veterans and martyrs are never commemorated. The king put his mercenaries and governors to work to force black slaves to gather their daily quotas of ivory, rubber, and gold. The resources were sold to finance the king's activities. But we should thank the white man. Let's thank him. Praise be to the white man. If any of the slaves failed to fulfill their daily quota, their hands and feet were amputated, their bodies mutilated, and all this to set an example for other slaves to work harder. However, if the slaves' hands could not be amputated, his wife and children had to pay the price. This strenuous workload and widespread use of torture led to the increase in number of deaths. Others would eventually die because the king's barbaric army listened to no excuses. Should we thank him? Should we thank him? What y'all think, man? Y'all think we should thank this cat? That's what the black conservatives perspective said. We need to thank the white. We need to be thanking these white people. Shit. You know what I'm saying? They cut off our hand and gave us a prosthetic hand. They cut off our hand and gave us a prosthetic one. We should be thanking them for that. Right? Well, let's go help the people in the Congo. Okay. Let's do it. What do y'all think? Black should thank the white man for bringing him to America to learn about Jesus. The black conservative Christian rebel, man, I need to know who you are, man. You're hilarious. James Miller says, now granted, we're the things white people did to help benefit society. Yeah, but I'm not going to act like colored folk don't ever improve society as well. Yeah. Malcolm X said it best, black folks don't need whites. We can create and build our own communities without the help of other ethnic groups. Facts. It's getting more and more racist the last 4 years. Yeah. But I'm gonna get off of this, y'all. I just wanted to show y'all that real quick. Yeah, man. I mean, look, man. The fact of the matter is, these motherfuckers ain't got to fight in your country. For your country, against the Russians. Point blank and period. You know what I'm saying? Let them leave. I don't understand what the problem is. You know, if they don't want to fight for your country, then why do you want them there? Let them go. And then if you don't want to, don't let them back. All right. So I'm going to get out of here, guys. Much love. Like, share, subscribe. And yeah, let's keep marching forward toward freedom.